Captain Kyle Jarreau here from Shore Thing Charters in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. I'll give you a good recipe today for a good seafood gumbo. You're going to need approximately 5 pounds of peeled shrimp, 2 pounds of crab meat, 3 large onions, 3 large bell peppers, 6 stalks of celery, 2 pods of garlic, and some basil and bay leaf. I like to talk about a roux. My roux, when I make it, I make like my gumbo thick, so I use 2 cups of flour to 2 cups of oil, and I use peanut oil in all my roux. If you're making a smaller gumbo, you can use 1 cup of peanut oil to 1 cup of flour. A heavy cast iron skillet is what you really need to make a roux, and you're going to be there a while. It's going to take you about 25 to 30 minutes to make one properly. You're going to heat the oil to where it's almost starting to smoke, and be ready. The stuff is going to be hot, but you're going to get ready. You're going to dump your flour into there. You're going to start stirring it up, and you're going to stir it, and you got to constantly keep it stirred, or you're going to burn it. If you burn it, you throw it away and start all over. It's going to take approximately 15, maybe 20 minutes before you get the thickness and the color of the roux. And once you get it going and it starts browning, you can turn your fire down, because your pot's going to be hot enough where actually the heat in the pot is going to be cooking your roux. Once that's done, before I'm done with my roux, I have at least 1 onion chopped fine, and I'll take that and dump it in the roux, stir it around, and take it and remove it from the heat. You got to keep stirring that roux till it cools down a little bit. Once it cools down, just let it sit, and maybe 30 to 40 minutes later, all the oil that's come from the oil that you use, will come to the top, and you can pour it off and get as much of that off of the roux as you can. Take your roux, put it in your gumbo pot, put it in there, and then you're going to add about 1.5 gallons of water to your roux. You're going to heat it back up. You're going to dump all your seasoning that you have chopped up in there, and you're going to start boiling that and cooking that down. I also like to use Rotel, diced Rotel tomatoes in there. I usually use 1 large can to a pot of gumbo. I'll cook that for about 1.5 hours, cook it down, and then you want to add about 1/2 gallon of oysters to that, 5 pounds of shrimp, and 2 pounds of lump crab meat. I usually cook that for about another 45 minutes to an hour on low, and it's ready to go. Serve on top of a beautiful bed of rice. And one thing I've learned over the years is if the next day that gumbo is always going to be better, because as it sits and cools and everything comes together, the next day it's always better.